Hey everybody, it is Wednesday. We're having the Thursday update on a Wednesday this week because tomorrow is Thanksgiving and we're going to be closed tomorrow and Friday. If you're new here, I am Martinez-Bateman. I am a communications consultant in Portland, Oregon. I specialize in equity, change management, crisis management, etc. So hit me up if those are things you are interested in. Let's get into the Wednesday update. On Monday, I said that I had one intention for the week. Usually I have about 3, but I have one intention for this week since it's only 3 days long, and it was to take care of my physical health. That meant specifically dressing warm, drinking water, getting sleep, taking my rest, drinking tea, etc. Taking my inhaler, making sure that I'm not doing anything that can yuck up my lungs. I said on Monday that every single November, since I was about 14, I have gotten a nasty lung infection in November, and it's lasted for a while. Last year, it lasted from November until February. So, never want to do that again. And so far, I am lung infection free. So, we're going to keep doing what we've been doing, which is resting, babying my throat, babying my lungs, taking my inhaler, drinking lots of warm drinks, and it seems to be working. I did end up working until 3:30 in the morning yesterday night, so after Tuesday day, I worked until 3:30, basically what is this morning. Those of you who don't know, I have a canted schedule. I usually go to bed around 4 and wake up around noon, so it didn't cut into my sleep, but I really dislike working after dinner because work pumps me up. And so then when it's time to sleep, it's harder for me to relax and go to sleep. And it definitely, kept me up later than I usually would like to. Usually I go to sleep around 4. I didn't end up going to sleep until 5 something this morning. So that wasn't great. I don't necessarily want to do it again. Also, we're setting up a bunch of systems so that stuff doesn't happen. And the sooner I can get those systems set up, the better. Altogether, I do have a sort of general rule that I don't work more than 6 hours a day if I can at all help it, and that I absolutely do not ever work more than 8 hours a day. Because I know from tracking, I've tracked every work hour that I've had basically since 2013. And I know for a fact that for me specifically, every hour I work after 6 hours in a day becomes half as productive as the hour before that. And then after 8 hours, not only does that, diminishing, dive of the graph happen, it affects the next day. So it's irresponsible for me to work more than 6 hours. It's just stupid of me to work more than 8 hours in a day. So at the end of yesterday, even though it was 3:30 in the morning, I had only worked for 6 hours. There's a bunch of stuff that day that just kind of happened, and I didn't get to work until pretty late. So, I don't think that's what I want to repeat. I'm definitely setting up these systems that I'm implementing now to make sure that doesn't become a regular thing. But I do have to note that not only was I up until 3:30 last night, which is the Tuesday night, the Tuesday before it, I was working until 2:30. So it's starting to become a pattern. Got to look at it, got to make sure that that's not something that I'm doing regularly or making excuses for. If I'm working after dinner, I really only want it to be because there's an impending deadline and that bad things, worse things will happen if I don't do this. And I don't want to get in a place where that's the reality because I haven't set up plans and systems and etc. So definitely keeping an eye on that behavior of mine. But otherwise, had a great week, took care of myself, feel pretty good, although I do feel tired because it's the end of the day. And I've crammed a lot of work into these last 3 days. So, what were your intentions? Did you stick with them? What are your intentions for the rest of this week? I know a lot of us are socially distancing from our families. I know a lot of us are having Zoom Thanksgiving. I recommend Zoom hangouts with family. I think that they're really nice because not only can you love on your family and see them and everything, but also you can be oh, Grandpa's talking about that again. I'm gonna go get a glass of water. And it's not that weird. So, you know, recommend the Zoom giving. I don't know. I want to know, like, how are you going to take care of yourself and nourish yourself during this holiday season? It can be really fraught, you know? Not only is it Thanksgiving, which has a lot of symbolism in the U.S., it's also Thanksgiving, which has a lot of genocidal history tied to it. Like, you know, are we celebrating Indigenous Day of Mourning, which is also on Thursday? Are we celebrating family traditions? You know, when I was a kid, we didn't have a Thanksgiving tradition, really. We definitely didn't, you know, a lot of people's like memories of like warm, happy families, big gatherings, friendliness wasn't in the cards for my family growing up. And that was something that I created for myself over the course of like, you know, moving out, getting a job, having my own space, was creating the chosen family around me of Thanksgiving. So I have a lot of really amazing, nourishing, loving memories of Thanksgiving, and I also hold in my heart that originally this holiday was meant to celebrate the colonization of this indigenous nation that we still live here on unceded territory, on stolen land. And there's a lot that we as Americans, as a United States citizen, we all have to work on, see, do, work towards, etc., to make up for that, you know? So, not to end on a downer, and also, you know, I think sometimes I want to police myself and say something happy after I've said something real about our history, about our racist history in this country. And the truth is that when you are overcoming your own internalized racism, the thing that most people forget about is joy. Me, you, us, feeling joy, learning what that feels like, following that joy, figuring out how to turn that into a real thing in our world, in our lives, turning that into a practice of self-care and care for community and care for family, that is anti-racist work. And I think it is internalized white supremacy and internalized racism that makes us think that this work must be serious all the time, that this work has to be somber all the time, that this work has to be devoid of fun. You know, if you want to kill a movement, tell them that they're not allowed to have fun or dance or laugh or be friends or love each other or love other people. Tell them that there's a clear right and wrong way to do things, and tell them that they're bad at the heart of it if they do it wrong. That's the way to fuck with an anti-racist movement. And so I do find myself suspicious when I am being told or being told by myself, right, my internal voice, that that I can't be an activist, that I can't be progressive, that I can't care about our history, that I can't center Black and brown and trans brothers and sisters and siblings without being sad about it. So that's an extra thought for the week. See you on Monday.